Intamin. Intamin has been around for a long time. They've had ups and downs, and today I'm going to explain why the future of Intamin depends on Veloci Coaster. Intamin is one interesting manufacturer. They have built some of the biggest failing coasters, but also some of the most successful. They've beaten crazy records that no other manufacturer has ever since attempted to beat, like the height record of Ka. But the maintenance issues on Ka is likely why no other park asked Intamin to break their own record. Over the last decade, the US seems to be rejecting Intamin over and over again. Intamin may make a comeback in the US, but in my opinion, that all depends on one thing: Veloci Coaster. Veloci Coaster opens to the public at Universal Islands of Adventure, Orlando on June 10th, 2021. That's why today I'm going to explain exactly why the future of Intamin in the US depends completely on Veloci Coaster. Intamin was the biggest roller coaster manufacturer for a period of time back in the early 2000s. During that period of time, both Cedar Fair and Six Flags were trying to one-up each other with taller, faster, and crazier roller coasters. In 2003, Top Thrill Dragster opened as the world's tallest and fastest roller coaster at Cedar Point. Built by Intamin, the coaster stands at 420 feet high and reaches speeds of 120 miles per hour with lap bars. Just 2 years later, Ka opened at Six Flags Great Adventure, also built by Intamin, standing only about 30 feet higher. That was the end of the tallest coaster record times, and since then, no park has yet to claim the tallest coaster title from Ka. But Intamin wasn't done yet, and neither was Six Flags or Cedar Fair. Six Flags Great Adventure went back to Intamin in 2006 for El Toro, a prefabricated wooden coaster that would end up being widely considered the world's best coaster until 2018, while Cedar Fair would wait a little longer before adding Maverick to Cedar Point in 2007. Both these coasters are considered some of the world's best until today, even though they aren't the world's tallest or fastest. Since then, the Cedar Fair and Six Flags chains have yet to install another major coaster from Intamin. Cedar Fair and Six Flags are the two largest amusement park chains in the US, and when they left Intamin, we started seeing a lot less Intamin coasters. Hershey Park also built their last Intamin coaster in 2011, and many other parks in the US have moved away from Intamin in the last decade. The big question is why? Why did the US move away from Intamin, and how does Veloci Coaster play into this? To understand exactly what's going on, we need to understand one thing. Intamin may not have been rejected so hard in the US. It may just be an illusion. Let's start with Cedar Fair. We know they didn't leave Intamin because of the price, because they work with B&M all the time. So why'd they leave Intamin? The answer is likely due to Intamin's reliability and capacity issues, as well as maintenance nightmares. Now let's look at Six Flags. We don't 100% know why they left Intamin, but we can assume it's likely a mix of two reasons: price and reliability. Intamin coasters aren't in the budget of the Six Flags chain, and the issues their coasters can cause doesn't make Six Flags any more interested in working with them. Now let's look at one more park in the US that left Intamin. This park is the largest independent park in the country, Hershey Park. Well, we don't even know that they left Intamin. The only extreme coaster they installed since their last Intamin was a hypercoaster by B&M. Maybe they never left Intamin and only didn't use them because they already have an Intamin Hyper. As we see, Intamin has two main issues with their coasters: reliability and price. Intamin has already proved they can offer cheaper coasters with the 4 new models they unveiled about a year ago. But what about reliability? That's where everything comes down to Veloci Coaster. Veloci Coaster looks so far like the best coaster in its state and one of the best in the country. But is it reliable? That's the key question. Will Veloci Coaster cause the issues some Intamin coasters caused that ended up turning parks and chains away from Intamin? I can't tell the future, but I can speculate. If Veloci Coaster runs smoothly and the line moves quickly, that will lead Intamin's reputation to start getting better. Slowly, we may see more and more parks and chains willing to give Intamin a first or second chance. But if Veloci Coaster has to close down, or its opening gets delayed due to maintenance issues, or the coaster suffers a lot of downtime, that will kill Intamin. Literally, the worst thing that could happen to Intamin right now is Veloci Coaster having maintenance issues. That would prove to parks that already left Intamin that their new coasters are just as unreliable, and it would scare away new customers too. I honestly think Veloci Coaster would be a huge hit and bring Intamin back with a vengeance to soon top, wait for it, steal vengeance. But though unlikely, it's possible the coaster suffers maintenance nightmares and ruins Intamin's future in the US. There's another thing that can help Intamin make a comeback in the US faster, assuming Veloci Coaster runs fine. If Veloci Coaster opens up on June 10th and draws in crazy lines, bringing Universal's attendance to pre-pandemic numbers or even higher, that will show parks that the hype is around Intamin. It will show everyone that taking a risk with Intamin pays off well, and we may see many other parks and chains work with them. Now, you might say Pantheon's success will affect Intamin too, which it will, but it won't make as big of a difference as Veloci Coaster. SeaWorld hasn't even set an opening date for Pantheon, and the chain is in a really bad spot right now, so I don't really want to get into that topic. Veloci Coaster is insanely hyped, and at this point it may do better than Iron Gwazi, if Gwazi ever opens. For Intamin to make a comeback in the US, Veloci Coaster needs to succeed. The coaster undoubtedly will be a huge hit, but it needs to shatter records with attendance and popularity, and the ride needs to be extremely reliable. It's basically like if the ride isn't almost perfect, Intamin gets hurt. Veloci Coaster is extremely hyped, and it needs to live up to every bit of that hype and over-deliver, or it can hurt Intamin very much. Veloci Coaster is a huge success so far, and it seems it will succeed, but we won't know that 100% for another while. Overall, Intamin is struggling in the US, and the more parks and chains continue to give them a chance, the more they will spread. SeaWorld could have a huge influence on Intamin's future, especially if they build a bunch more after Pantheon, but the chain's future is very uncertain, so I'm leaving them out of the video. Veloci Coaster is the one coaster that holds the key to the future of Intamin in the US, and hopefully it does so well that we see another 3 major Intamin coasters open in 2023 in the US. How do you think Veloci Coaster will affect Intamin? Let me know in the comments.